Hey, you guys tip over? Oh man. What are we back with? We're back with more hoard. More hoard. Look what I found. We haven't gotten back to it yet, but there's a lathe in the back of this, one of the garages that I'm cleaning out for my recently deceased friend, and he's got a South Bend lathe back there, and I grabbed all the books. I did find the books on them, how to oil it. Everybody knows the importance of adequate lubrication, installation, and leveling. And we have how to keep your lathe clean. So that's pretty damn cool. I've just got a big kick out of that. That's the lathe that I'm gonna take up to the ranch. I don't know that it's better than the Logan that I have here at the house. Mine's a 10 by 24. This one's a 9. I don't know. We'll see. I'll get it out in the daylight. We'll take a look at it together once I get it. I'm almost to it. And we'll take a look. But let's look in the back of the truck and see what else I dragged home. Oh, quick update on the Suburban. It's not fixed yet. This is the end of September. I think it's Thursday, or is today Friday? What is today? I don't even know what day it is today. Oh, it's Friday, September 29th. And I pulled this thing out. It sat here for a few days before I called the guy that was going to rebuild it, and turns out he was on vacation. He was on some kind of cruise somewhere, Panama type cruise, and he got caught up in the storms. So yeah, he wasn't going to be back in the shop till the 1st of October, and he says, oh, you can bring it by the shop, and it's his shop, you know, the shop's open. He goes, you can bring it by the shop, and then I'll get to it as soon as I get back, first week of October. But I didn't want to just drop it off. Things in shops, when they get just kind of left in the corner, they get picked for parts, or they get scooped up and scrapped, or they get tossed, or I don't know, whatever. I didn't want it out of my hands for 3 weeks, almost a month. I think I pulled this about a month ago. Excuse me, I pulled this about a month ago. So yeah, so nothing's happened on the Suburban. It is exactly the way you saw it a month ago when I put up that video, 3-4 weeks ago. That'll go the first week of October. But in the back of the truck, we got some brand new chemical gloves, heavy duty chemical gloves. There's a bunch of stuff back here. What's back here? I don't know. This is an old hydraulic press that I wanted to grab. I didn't want this to go out to the scrap metal boy. Oh, let's get to this. This is an old satellite dish. I don't know if you remember the old school satellite dishes that were, this one was probably 7 or 8 feet across. These are the individual panels that would have made up the dish. Well, I didn't want the hardware from the dish, but this is some sort of anodized finish. The hardware cloth is very, very small. I'm going to use this for beehives. I need to rebuild my beehives anyway. There are 12 of them here. I'm going to keep 3 for myself. This will be for the inspection boards, the bottom boards. It's nice because it's coated, and it's small enough to where the bees can't get through it, and their debris can fall through it. So I'm going to keep 3 or 4 of these for myself. I'm going to give the rest to my buddy who's got a bunch of beehives. I bet he'll be able to use that quite well. We got some how many quarts is this? 2.5 gallon, 10 quart oil cans. I don't know. There's guys on YouTube that make banjos out of these old cans. They're empty, but they're in fantastic shape. So I might reach out to them and see if somebody wants this to make a banjo or something. Got a chunk of steel. Look at this thing. Oh, probably weighs 60 pounds, 50 pounds. It is, I don't know. That's like 1.5 inches across, probably. 3 feet long. That's cool. That was out already in the scrap pile. And so I pulled that back in. I reined that back in. What do we have here? Some pop rivets, some washers, some heavy bolts. Oh, that stabbed me right in the hand. Some heavy nuts and bolts. I think I'm going to take those up to the ranch. Those are always good inventory to have. Got some cool stuff in here. I thought this was a trick. This thing's brand new, never been opened before. Darrow plastic, fix it yourself auto body patch kit. Everything is complete. I just opened it up. Never been used. It's in pretty remarkable shape. So I don't know, all these old cans, these old funky things. Somebody want them? I'll figure it out. There's a bunch of like metal cutoffs, but most importantly is this hydraulic press, and I have plans for this. This is homemade, extremely strong, very heavy. It took 3 of us to even get it in the back here, so this thing probably weighs a couple, 250, 300 pounds, I would suspect. This was built late 50s, 57 or 58 is what I'm thinking. These are really dirty from playing around. This press was built in the late 50s, 57, 58, 59, somewhere around there. Father-son project. The gentleman that recently deceased, he built this with his dad. And it is nice. I kind of wanted a hydraulic press for a while, shop press. It's a 20-ton jack. Hold on a sec here, hold on. Yeah, that's a 20-ton jack, and even if that jack were not in the best of shape, I got knocked out of place a little bit, I could always replace that. But it's the unit itself that's extremely strong. This is just some steel. He has steel. This is for pressing out bearings. These are press blocks for bearings. And then there's a whole nother milk crate of steel that we couldn't find. It was there, and it's buried right now under some stuff that's going out to the scrap metal guys. So I'll dig through it at another time. I got to go to work today. This is a nice chunk of steel. Again, it's just good inventory. It's 1/2-inch thick steel. It's probably 24 inches long. Nice and flat. This is an air tank off a compressor. I stripped all the compressor stuff off it. You see it sat outside for years and years. But it has 4 ports. So we have a fill port. We're going to have a port going to the air horns. We have a service port, which will have a quick disconnect for an air hose, and then we got a drain on the bottom to drain the hose. I'm thinking I'm going to mount this underneath the bed of this truck, the Dodge, because I do have air horns for this. I think I'm going to mount the tank, sandblast this, paint it up real good, mount it to the bottom, put the compressor inside the cab so it's out of the weather. This is the pad. You guys remember I brought that ATV lift up to the ranch. This was the pad that got knocked off in the process, so that's been found. Got an old vintage scale for when I mix up my dope and I want to sell my dope. Actually, I thought this was really, really cool. It's an old postal scale. I thought it was very cool. I couldn't throw that into the scrap pile. But the hydraulic press, and this weekend, today being Friday, and I'll try to run these in order. This weekend I'm going to, oh yeah, I could turn a different thingamadeal here, huh? Oh man, I gotta look into this thing closer. This was really buried in the garage, and it's, look at this threaded rod. It's just, oh, buddy, I'm so excited. This weekend I'm going to build something that I've been wanting to build for a long, long time, and it's going to need this thing. I won't tell you what it is, because you're going to have to watch the video, and that's going to come up here shortly. And I do want to build, and I'll tell you, I do want to build, whether I do it by scratch or whatever, I want to build a press brake. I don't know if I need a finger brake necessarily, but I definitely want a press brake so I can bend stuff using this. So either I will build one myself or I will buy a kit. I think Swag builds an Swag Off-Road or something has a kit. If I'm not mistaken, I have to do a little research, but definitely get a press brake for this, and definitely a project that I'm going to build this weekend, which I'll show you next video. Just more crap coming home. Big pile for the scrap metal guy when he shows up to get that out of there. And this thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. All right, there it is. More stuff. Suburban. There it is. All right, gotta go. Gotta run. See you.